Jugy. Hello. Alright, so the premise of the build is this. You're taking damage out of your Sinful Brand output and redistributing it into other abilities like Blade Dance, Death Sweep, and Fell Rush. That's where the Unbound part comes in. So you might be asking yourself, why the heck is it a casino? Well, because you're using Dark Glare as your second legendary, so you're essentially playing a slot machine every pull. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, but generally you'll get enough procs for it to be worth it. The Dark Glare procs are beneficial for 3 reasons. The extra I-beams will extend your Sinful Brand, which partially compensates for the lack of collective anguish. They will keep you in demonic longer, which means more death sweeps. And finally, every time you get a proc, it's a massive dopamine rush, so instead of playing Diablo Immortal, you can get your fix here.
Totally. The whole reason to play this build is to have fun. The damage is gonna be not a problem.
Let's take a look at some specifics, starting with the talents. In the first row, we'll be sticking with Blind Fury. This makes our I-beams longer, which means we're getting that little extra bit of extensions on our brands, and we'll be getting extra I-beam procs with our Dark Glare, so it just makes sense. The second row is going to be staying the same as well. You'll take Insatiable Hunger because you're still pressing Demon's Bite here, and if you're prone to accidentally pressing Demon's Bite too much instead of spending Fury, then that's even more reason to take this talent. But that's a nasty habit though, and you should try to fix that. The third row is kind of where the controversy is here. Honestly, you can play any 3 of these, and they all have different benefits, different damage profiles. Russ uses...
Wrong. You should never use Glaive Tempest. If you use Glaive Tempest, we have to chat. I just don't use Glaive Tempest.
Glaive Tempest, and Humanity uses Trail of Ruin, but listen. You're here learning about the Jedith'S Unbound casino build, so...
Wrong. I'm here to assert dominance. And to also tell you that his talent choices in the rest of this kind of clip are great. The only reason I don't play Fell Rush personally is because sometimes you have to worry about movement. You need to dodge things, mobs are being kited, so just having that trail dot is super beneficial to not have to worry about all of that. And also you're not always pulling that big where Unbound Chaos is going to give you a lot more damage anyways.
To get Dark Glare procs, I would recommend spending your Fury. You can spend it on Death Sweeps, or you can spend it on, Annihilations if you don't have Death Sweep available, but always prioritize Death Sweep. You don't want to just be blasting your I-beams out in those Dark Glare windows. I would definitely suggest spending the Fury.
This is advice I don't really agree with, only because let's say you just metaed into a huge pack and you did get a Dark Glare running, you would want to send that first proc to extend your brand to 25-30 seconds so that while the pack is living, your brand's actually running, and then start dumping your Fury. Same can be said for a prio mob that's going to be living for a long time.
I think is sometimes missed with this build is that with Dark Glare you can potentially get extra I-beams inside of your Cache of Acquired Treasures window. So generally if you're running the other build and lining the trinket up with meta, you should get 2 I-beams, 3 if you reset your I-beam quick enough. But with Dark Glare, so you can get 0 procs, meaning you would only get 2 I-beams, or you could get multiple procs, meaning your trinket damage is gonna...
Agreed. It's actually disgusting when that happens. There are some keys where my trinket does upwards of like 1.7 mil or 2 mil over the entirety of the key. It's actually gross.
Now with Unbound Chaos, the best advice I can give you is just be aware of your positioning. Like I've said in many of my other videos, try to Fell Rush into walls or objects to prevent yourself from dashing all over the place. You should always be on the lookout for a little nook or cranny or a lamp post or something to utilize to your benefit.
Yep, actually Pog advice here. Fell rushing and being smart about where you're going and the angle and what you're hitting and utilizing walls. Super awesome. Good job.
Also be aware that the Unbound Chaos buff lasts longer than the Immolation Aura buff, meaning you don't have to spend your Unbound Chaos right away. Immolation Aura's damage stacks up every time it ticks and hits an enemy due to your growing Inferno conduit, so you want to spend as much time next to mobs during your Immolation Aura buff as you can. This isn't to say you should always wait for Immo to drop before spending your Unbound Chaos, but it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's actually a really good tip that people don't remember to do, is actually just stay in or around any mob with your emo aura up because it is gaining stacks and it is getting stronger and it is going to give you more overall. So just be weary not to fell rush out away from mobs losing stacks of, emo aura.
Another tip I'll give you is during buffs, Death Sweep essentially has no cooldown whatsoever, so you can just blast out as many of those inside of that window as you can. If you're using Glaive Tempest, you can alternate between the two.
Don't use Glaive Tempest.
Death Sweep, Glaive Tempest, Death
Don't use Glaive Tempest.
Sweep, Glaive Tempest.
Seriously, don't use Glaive Tempest.
You get the idea. Now, people will say you shouldn't play this build in higher keys, and they're probably right.
Nope, they're definitely wrong.
You'll get more single target prio damage with Cycle of Hatred, but if I'm going to be pushing a higher key relative to what I'm used to, I'll probably stick with Cycle. But on the other hand, in the current climate of Mythic Plus, a Havoc's damage really doesn't matter. We're there to buff the Hunter and the Lock and get some interrupts and put Chaos Brand out.
I'm so glad he said that because, yes, we are there to get carried. So enjoy the carry. If you enjoyed the carry, congrats. And yeah, that's what we're there for. He is 100% correct. Okay, so if you made it this far, thanks for watching my first React video. This was just fun to do. Jedith's an awesome demon hunter. He definitely ranks at a 6.9 on any scale. And go watch his channel. I'll link it in the description. Go watch this video if you want to see it in full length. And also follow me on Twitch, YouTube. I'm on Twitter now because why not? And I don't know how it works, but still, go follow me there. Go follow me everywhere. I'm going to be everywhere. So I hope you are too. See you later. Bye.